Far from many urban centres, life in northwest Alberta moves at a different pace. In the town of Crete, it's like the pandemic doesn't exist. Provincial public health rules like masking, capacity limits, and proof of vaccine requirements are often ignored. With only 29.6% of its total population fully immunized, the area has Alberta's lowest vaccine rate, and one of the lowest in the country, creating a dilemma for those who take the pandemic seriously. For Daniel Wall, being self-sufficient is more important than ever now.
I hate town trips. It's not fun wearing a mask when you know there's such anti-mask sentiment in the whole area.
Like many of their neighbors, Wall and his family are Mennonites. Getting immunized and following public health rules has isolated them from their tight-knit community.
We essentially stopped going to church because the pandemic restrictions were that they were limited to a certain size, and none of the local churches that we know of were respecting that.
Wall says he trusts information from health officials, but most of his friends and relatives do not.
Re-education will not be possible until people start doubting the conspiracy theorists. You know, it's who you trust. You can't educate someone who isn't going to listen to what you say.
Crete and its surrounding region in northwest Alberta has been hit hard by COVID. Since March 2020, there have been 3,300 cases in a population of roughly 25,000 people. More than 50 people have died of COVID-19. Down the highway in Fort Vermilion, a different viewpoint.
The Peace River on my backdrop is the lifeblood of this country.
Despite widespread evidence the vaccine is safe, farmer Danny Friesen has doubts.
There's lots of conspiracy theories, and I don't believe all of them. I don't think it's as bad as they say it is, but I think we need to be more honest that there are side effects. People have died of COVID, and people have had side effects from the vaccine.
Like others with unfounded concerns here, Friesen became even more skeptical when Alberta offered a $100 incentive to get immunized.
If they're paying you to take a shot, something doesn't quite add up.
Across the Peace River, this First Nation has tight COVID controls. So too the nearby town, which is a hub for industry in the area. Masking and checking for proof of vaccine is more common in high level. Out-of-town workers are helping to keep hotels and restaurants afloat. But the introduction of the vaccine passport in the fall saw business from local customers dry up.
Locally and local traffic and demand really diminished due to low vaccination rates in our area.
But there are signs that may be changing. The immunization rate jumped nearly 10% between mid-November and early December. This pharmacist says the introduction of a vaccine passport did get more people in the door.
It's steady because whatever government is doing seems like working. People are getting for a vaccination.
Back near Crete, Daniel Wall is struggling over what to do. With most of his family's social circle still unvaccinated, he says following the public health rules around gatherings is isolating.
If it keeps extending longer and longer, then at some point we're also humans. We have social needs.
A man conflicted, but for now at least, still following COVID rules. Paige Parsons, CBC News, Crete, Alberta.